Good evening. No, evening. Margie TV. Good afternoon. Now it's 12:03. It is hot as blazes out here, Lady Pandakekz. So I did one thing for my mom, and for me, and for you, and for everyone. I weeded out the flower pot, got rid of all the weeds. You just seen it was a mess. So I'm just burning hot out here. I just took Sam out, woke up late. So I'm going to attempt to quickly not stay out here too long. I'm going to try and work on this stand that I'm working on for my phone. That way you can... I found out that if you stay like that, you're in good shape. So... But... Hi Kim, mwah. I need a shave, Lady Pandakekz. Margie, love vlog. I need a shave. Hi, Givelin TV, and I'm sorry I haven't seen any of you, and you haven't seen me, and just been very hectic with my internet, and I've been so busy, and I've just been staying indoors. I haven't had much of a vlog. I got an unboxing coming up, which I will do that at some point. But I just wanted to give you a heads up what's going on. I have not gone down the street yet to do that job. I'm trying to find a day where it's not as hot because even just stepping outside gets too hot. See, like if you walked out in the sun here, you like burn your hands. See, if I go like this, Margie, it's like, hot. So when I take Sam out, I have to carefully go around the side, and I try to find shade, but it's not so good. And then, but thing I have to promise my mom that I said I would do the hedge trimming and get all that done at some point in time. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut down the pieces that I need for this to keep it so it doesn't fall. I already have some of the pieces that I have here to glue on, so I know exactly where this needs to be. See how I did this over here? I'm going to try and do a replica of that. Of course, it would have been better if I had one of those blocks, but I was afraid it would be too heavy. So I'm going to try and make this light but secured, because somehow I have to remember to make a top for this. So you don't want to be falling out, because if this thing leans forward, you want to be able to stay still. Of course, you'll be looking at the ground. So I'm going to try and work on this project. I got the wood glue, Ray. And don't worry, I have more of that on the other side. So I'm going to try and do this quick as possible. Let's turn on my fan, because it's the biggest fan I have. And she don't want to work. She said, I'm not a fan anymore. I told Mom I needed to get a new fan. And she's like, nah. So you gotta press, and then you go. That's how you gotta do it, Rebel Rocker. You gotta press. Oh, Sunny Stormy, you got a new upload. Okay, I'll check that out. So, meow. You know, speaking of cats, let me tell you something. Somebody sent me a friend request on Messenger, and they had cats, and I was like, "Oh, must be somebody I know." And so I just said, "Hi, how are you?" And hope everything's going well. And I told them that I absolutely love cats. I used to have 15 cats. Actually, there was 20 altogether, but some of them died when I was living in New Jersey. And so I told this person said, would you be interested in buying any cats or adopting any cats? And I told them that I would absolutely love to own a cat. I would love to have a cat. But the problem is Sam. Sam has never, ever reacted with a cat. She never had it, never met a cat. I don't know if the cat would like Sam. It'd be one thing if you got the cat when it was a kitten, the same time as Sam was a puppy, That way they could have bonded and become best friends. But in this circumstance, it did not happen that way. So it's like, how do you go about doing that? You know what I mean? And so I told him, I said, I just don't think that'll work out. So I explained that to him. I got another message from him, and they sent me a bunch of pictures of cats. And I noticed something about the pictures. It said AI. Oh, yes, let's have some AI cats. Not the real thing, but let's have some AI cats. So, no thanks. I'd rather have the real thing. But, and then they said, when should we ship your kittens out to you? I told them, no. I know, I cannot have a kitten. I said, I can't have a cat. I said, I would love to have a cat. And cats? They had a lot of cats. And the reason why we don't have it anymore because my old neighbor called the SPCA. Yeah, that's it. And so, and before that, we didn't even know. We thought our cats died. It turns out the other cats we had, the cat catcher came and got them. And nobody told us. We were really upset because we had some really nice cats. Blackie and Shadow. Then we had Scotty Cat. And then we had Smarty. Because Smarty told me about Lucky. Now, Smarty Cat always liked to climb trees. Smarty Cat was always a smart ass. But he was so sweet. And then Lucky, see, Smarty Kitten took me outside actually it was already outside. It said meow meow meow, and then wanted me to follow it, so I followed it to the wood pile in the backyard in New Jersey. And just so you know, this is during the winter time, and I found the kitten laying there, and when it was in ice, and I panicked, and I picked it up, and I called Mom as soon as I could, and she told me to grab my neon sweatshirt, the neon with the 8 ball. I'm sure you'll see it in the fall or sometime. And she said, put the kitten on that, and then put a light over it, and then just let it see what happens, and watch over it. After a amount of time, I see the little kitten stretch it out, and then looked at me, and it was purring. It was so cute. So, but unfortunately, we had to get rid of him because our neighbor apparently is allergic to cats, and because of that, we had to get rid of him. So, anyways, I'll keep you updated on what these results are on what I'm doing here. I'm actually really hungry, so I'm going to get something to eat in a little bit. And I showed you the movies I watched. I just watched Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. That was cool. I really enjoyed watching that. It was a little weird in some parts. Chris Hemsworth's voice was funny. I'm not used to him talking like that. You have to see it for yourself to know what I'm talking about. And but no, all in that, I thought the movie was cool. The action was great. The storyline is what really that got me. I was like, this is really cool because I really like the fact that they had showed what happened from the. If you watched Mad Max Fury Road, you probably saw the girl that played Furiosa, and you're like, what happened to her? Why is she like this? Why did that happen? Well, when you watch Furiosa, then you found, and it tells you how everything had happened. I was really pleased with that. So, I gotta shave, Margie TV. Doesn't look like a scruffy man. So, alright. Well, here's your side. Here's your other side. And my sign says, clear out your phone more, dude. That's why I couldn't connect with anybody, because I didn't have enough room for internet storage. As I said, you're running out. Well, I gotta do it all over again. Gotta sit there and clear everything out. So, let's see. Well, maybe I can improvise. I don't know. I'll figure this out. Don't worry. Be happy. So I had to think. I'm super, super tired, and it's just too hot for you to be out here, okay? So I'll see you in my next upload, and by the time when you see me, this will be all glued and put together. So that way you go like this. And then I got to figure out a way to make it so it's secured on the top. I really should have drilled a hole there. That's why I made the dot. Oops. Whoopsie. I made it oops. Rubber rocker, I made it oops. That's what the dot was for, so I could drill a hole. A little bit of dowel through there. See the little dot? No, that's alright, because I can take this off just like that. See? Piece of cake. I'll just wipe that off. Alright. Well, I'm going to do this, and I'll see you in my next upload. Talk to the fan, talk to the fan. I don't know, what would you do? What would you tell the person if they kept bugging you about getting a cat? Would you be able to do it? That's the question.